Bulletproof cars have been saving lives for years, ever since politicians and criminals realised they needed protection.
Ready! Aim! Fire!
In the last 10 years, sales of bulletproof cars here have gone through the roof. But then, so have the number of weapons.
Here's something that'll mess with your head. In the world of ballistics, if your bulletproof glass doesn't shatter, you're probably dead. Wait, what? That AK-47 round screaming towards you at 2,350 feet per second isn't just a bullet, it's 2,000 joules of kinetic energy looking for somewhere to go. And if that glass doesn't crack, doesn't flex, doesn't sacrifice itself, all that energy goes straight into you. So, can bulletproof glass actually stop an AK-47? Yes, but the real question is, should you trust your life to it? Because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you think about protection, physics, and why the glass that saves your life has to be designed to fail. Hit subscribe because this is going to get wild. Let's start with a truth bomb. There is no such thing as bulletproof glass. The industry calls it bullet-resistant glass, and that's not just legal semantics, it's a survival warning. Because the difference between level 3 and level 7 protection isn't just thickness, it's the difference between walking away and being carried away. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting behind what you think is bulletproof glass. It stopped a 9mm handgun in testing. You feel safe. Then someone shows up with an AK-47. That 9mm delivered about 500 joules of energy. The AK-47? 4 times that. It's not just a bigger bullet, it's a completely different physics problem. So what actually makes glass capable of stopping a rifle round? It's not one material, it's a sacrificial system. Picture a sandwich, but each layer has a job in a carefully choreographed death dance. Layer 1, the sacrificial outer glass. This is your crumple zone. When that bullet hits, this layer's job is to shatter, absorbing energy through destruction. It's designed to fail. Layer 2, the polycarbonate core. This is the catcher's mitt. It's a thermoplastic that can stretch up to 250 times its original length before breaking. When that bullet slams in, the polycarbonate catches it, spreading the force across a wider area like a trampoline catching a bowling ball. Layer 3, the inner barrier. More glass, more polycarbonate bonded with adhesives that are stronger than the materials themselves. This is your last line of defense. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is something most people never learn. The best ballistic glass is asymmetric. The outside is hard, designed to stop incoming rounds, but the inside, it's softer, more flexible. You know why? So you can shoot back. One-way ballistic glass lets security forces return fire through the same barrier that's protecting them. The engineering is insane. It's hard enough to stop a rifle round from one direction, but weak enough to let a handgun round pass through from the other. That's not just clever, that's tactical genius. Now, let's talk about the monster we're trying to stop. The AK-47, designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov in 1947. This rifle has killed more people than any weapon in modern history. Over 100 million produced. It's in 50+ national armies. It's on flags. It's a cultural icon. But why does it matter for ballistic testing? Because the 7.62 by 39mm round it fires is the Goldilocks of lethality. Not too heavy, not too light, but just right for maximum damage. Here's the brutal truth. That bullet leaves the barrel at 715 meters per second. That's Mach 2, twice the speed of sound. By the time you hear the shot, the bullet has already hit you, and it's carrying 2,000 joules of kinetic energy. Let me make that real for you. Imagine a 10-pound sledgehammer swung by a professional athlete hitting a single point the size of a pencil eraser. That's the concentrated force slamming into that glass. But here's what makes the AK-47 truly terrifying for ballistic engineers. A 9mm handgun round? It's fast, but light. A .50 caliber? It's devastating, but rare and expensive. The AK-47 sits this perfect middle ground. Common, cheap, and powerful enough to defeat most civilian-grade protection. That's why it's the benchmark. If your glass can stop an AK-47, it can stop 90% of the threats you'll ever face. Alright, the moment of truth. Can bullet-resistant glass stop an AK-47? Yes, but only if you're willing to pay the price. And I'm not just talking about money. You need level 7 or level 8 glass, or NIJ level 3 or 4 if you're using the government rating. We're talking about 2 to 3 inches of multi-layered engineering. That's the width of a deck of playing cards. But here's the first price you pay. Weight. A single window panel? £400 to £500. That's 3 full-grown adults pressed against your car. Armoured vehicles need hydraulic door assist just to open. The suspension has to be reinforced. The brakes have to be upgraded because you're essentially driving a tank. The protection becomes so heavy it creates new vulnerabilities. Slower acceleration, longer stopping distances, mechanical failures. It's the weight paradox. The armour that saves you can also trap you. Now, let's talk about what happens when that AK-47 round actually hits. Millisecond 1. The bullet strikes at 2,350 feet per second. The outer glass layer fractures instantly, creating a spiderweb of cracks. Energy dissipates through destruction. Millisecond 2. The polycarbonate layer deforms, stretching like a rubber band. The bullet is decelerating, fast, but it's still moving. Millisecond 3. The inner layers catch what's left. The bullet stops, you're safe. Right? Wrong. Even when the glass works, there's a hidden killer. Spalling. When that bullet impacts, fragments of glass and polycarbonate explode off the projected side at hundreds of miles an hour. These aren't just chips, they're secondary projectiles that can blind you, shred your face, or sever arteries. That is why high-end ballistic glass has a spall shield, a special film on the inside that catches fragments. But cheaper glass? It stops the bullet and kills you anyway. The glass worked, you still died. And here's the final nightmare. Multiple impacts. That first AK-47 round, the glass stops it. Second round, same spot, it's weakened but holds. Third round, fourth, eventually even level 8 glass fails. Each impact creates microfractures, weakens the bond between layers and reduces effectiveness. This is called degradation, and it's why armoured vehicles in combat zones look like they've been through a blender. The glass that saved your life 5 minutes ago might not save you now. So where do you actually find glass tough enough to handle this? Military combat vehicles, Humvees, MRAPs, armoured personnel carriers, every window is a fortress. The Beast, the President's limousine, that glass is reportedly 5 inches thick and weighs over 2,000 pounds total. The doors weigh as much as a Boeing 757's cabin door. Embassies in war zones, where the threat isn't hypothetical, it's Tuesday. High-value cash facilities, because when you're moving millions in currency, you need more than a "please don't rob us" sign. But here's the economic reality. $150 to $500 per square foot for level 7 to 8 glass. A single car window? $15,000 to $30,000. A full building retrofit? Millions. And that's just materials. Installation requires structural engineers, reinforced frames, and specialized contractors. Oh, and one more thing, you won't see through it clearly. The thicker the glass, the more distortion. You're trading visibility for survival. Some military vehicles have such thick glass that drivers need external cameras to see properly. So, what can't stop an AK-47? Your car windows? No. Your house windows? No. Bank teller glass? No. Even level 1 to 4 bulletproof glass? Still no. You need the heavy-duty, military-grade, mortgage-your-house expensive stuff, and most people will never be within 100 feet of it. So let's answer the question once and for all. Can bulletproof glass withstand an AK-47? Yes, if it's level 7 or 8, if it's properly installed, if it's not degraded, if you can afford it, and if you're willing to accept the weight, cost, and visibility trade-offs. But here's what blows my mind. We've engineered transport armor. We've created a material that can stop one of the most lethal rifles ever made while still letting you see through it. That's not just impressive, that's borderline science fiction made real. The movies lie to you. Bulletproof glass doesn't just work. It's a spectrum of protection, a balance of physics, and a testament to human ingenuity. But here's my question for you. If you had to choose, would you rather have level 8 glass that stops everything but weighs £500 per panel and costs $50,000, or level 4 glass that stops handguns, weighs £100, costs $5,000, but fails against rifles? In other words, do you protect against the common threat or the catastrophic one? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to know how you'd make that call. Smash that subscribe button if you want more deep dives into the engineering that keeps us alive. And hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Remember, the best armor is the armor you never have to use. But if you do, make damn sure it's rated for the threat. Stay curious, stay protected, and I'll see you in the next one.